that people can actually see people to talk to in their communities. Because some girls are going through trauma and there's nobody to listen to them. And the idea of shouting people down where nobody cares about you should actually come out of the window as well. Because in as much as we can put a lot of money into this particular project, the main thing is, what do we do for it not to continue to happen? Because we've got to look at our schools, we've got to look at the grassroots stage. How do we actually curb this problem from us not having it anymore? So I think from the Office of Education Quality Assurance, we have been working collaboratively with Safety Commission, and it's good that we have all the stakeholders here today, because safeguarding is something that we're putting in place now for schools, particularly in all our private schools and our public schools. So we're working on that. Then also the thought that came to me also is the fact that we've got the literacy day coming up. I know with a session of private schools, they had to reschedule because their resumption time was not until next week. So that's why they rescheduled it to 21st. And I think this is something we all need to gather around and support the vision to see how we can actually educate our community more. And with what everybody has been saying, every stakeholder has got to be involved in this.
I think for the past 5 years, so their work is are very familiar with their work. Now in Unilever, we have a plan which we call the Unilever Sustainable Living Plan, which is fully aligned to the SDGs. And we work across 3 pillars, enhancing livelihoods, well-being, and also addressing the issues of environmental impact. My action here is to say to Action Health that we would like to explore, areas of possible collaboration further. Some of the things that we're doing, for instance, we do a lot of things through our brands. I'm sure you're all familiar with the brand Knorr cubes, which we use to cook. Knorr right now is pushing the advocacy for addressing the issue of anemia in children, and we've recently fortified Knorr with iron. So there are different things that we do. So it will be good for us to have a more in-depth discussion to see areas of possible collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question. All protocols duly observed. At Coca-Cola, I was going to say this, I was like taking it from you. I was going to suggest that for all of the corporate businesses present here today, we should look more inwardly, begin to look at opportunities. For us in Coke, what we're presently doing, and I think we're also doing this in collaboration with Action Health, is to look for ways of providing access to some of these out-of-school girls to be able to actually get them incorporated into value chain. Okay, to do that effectively, we thought through the sustainability features there. We thought it would be important to first and foremost equip them with the basic business skills training program. This is almost like a life skill. Okay, so when they complete the basic skills training program, they then are in a position to make a choice as to whether they want to stay put within our value chain or take that life skill already acquired elsewhere. So it's ongoing, and this is the second year. We're in collaboration as well with Mexico. So we're very happy, and we think that this would go places in the next 1 or 2, 3 years.
Let me first start with this, that all agencies of government should join hands together to ensure that this effort is not turned into another rubbish. Reason being that as you train these girls and as you allow more migrants to come in uncontrolled, you keep on having more and more problems. As people want to seek for greener pastures, apart from Brimo, which you mentioned, look at all the other names. they have only come in to bring in a name to identify with the area. I'm not averse to that. I'm not against them coming to Nigeria. But for God's sake, let us plan. They don't allow your plans to come to fruition. Because as you are planning for that area, they are procreating like mice. That's how I describe them. They procreate like mice. And others, their junior ones, their siblings, say that, this is a place I can always go to and just fizzle out, mingle with the society, and they are accepted. But being that as it may, I want to commend AHI and other NGOs. They have been trying a lot. Look at Makoko now. UNILAG came to Makoko to tell them that even the water hyacinth that is troubling the fish farmers, the fishermen, could be turned into gold. We were using my place to train people. I saw only elderly people coming. The young girls they were targeting did not come, because the first time I went around announcing that a program had come, they should come and benefit from it. They came the first 2 days and they realized that they were not distributing money to them. So they left. They went in search of other things. And thank God AHI is doing this now. Then that you've gotten, in Morocco now we have our 80 or 100 you are training. 80 or 100 girls, they are now training, which is good. But a lot of them may not compete with them. You see them again at the end of the program when they will think they want to distribute free sewing machines and things like that for them. That is when they will surface. So we have to devise a means of knowing those who are really serious and whom we can take care of.
If you want to do anything, you need to take charge of your life and say, I want a better future for tomorrow. That's what we talk about human rights. Nobody gives you your rights. Your rights are yours. I demand a life of dignity, and I'm going to try and get it in every way I can, and I'm going to work hard to get it. When it comes to the community leaders, you are fathers and mothers in those communities. These children, you will see them. Migration is something that is happening all over the world. I'm sure you've been seeing the ones happening in Europe, people fleeing and going to Europe. But you see, migration, those things are there for something you cannot even control, but the ones you can control, that you speak to your community. When people come to your community, you know sometimes when you see a new face. How do you attend to them? How do you bring them in? How do you ask them questions? But everybody wants a better life. And that's what living a dignified life is when it comes to the human rights elements. You can't turn them away if there's going to be a better life in Lagos. But you can assist them to ensure that they become productive and now begin to pay taxes and to ensure that you can now build structures. That's why I come back to government. I said the obligation is on you to do certain things. Like he said, there's no secondary school in Makoko, and you said there's something called free, compulsory to junior secondary. But in the whole of Makoko, you don't have one. What's government doing about that? The quality, there's something we call under social, cultural, and economic rights. They say triple AQ. Are those facilities, whether health, education, shelter, accessible, acceptable, affordable, and what is the quality you're giving out? That's why I come back to education. What is the quality of those schools, public schools in those areas? The number of teachers per child, the classrooms, how many children in each classroom, the structure itself, and like the said, the sanitary environment. There's something called, they say water and sanitation is a human right. And I agree with them. We need to begin to be accountable to these things. My situation now comes finally to you. That we need Nigerians to know. That's where behavioral change comes in. How do we begin to change the behavior of our people and the mindset? They say when they say something is free, people don't value it. But when it is fought for and gotten with a price, people value it. What is Master Jesse going to do about that? And those are my words.
And this acronym actually means all ends involved.
Okay, that's a good one.
Because the future of a girl child is the responsibility of both men and women, not just the women. It's the responsibility of both parties, because this girl child, these women, are the bearers of the leaders of tomorrow. Some of us that were at positions today, in this government, we were all In fact, all of us, we were all born of a woman. And that is why it has to be as important as possible. Going back to the discussion at hand, it is the responsibility of the government to make sure that they advocate for the adolescents' well-being, the girls' well-being, and reduce the amount of peer pressure within the community and the society as a whole. So I would say, representing two capacities here, as an honorable member of the House of Assembly, it is my duty to actually advocate for laws and resolutions and statutes that would guide and guard the girls' well-being. And as a representative of the Speaker of the House of Assembly, who is the leader of 40 different members in our 40 constituencies within the state, it is my duty, however, to take a message back to the House of Assembly and let him know that it is our responsibility to cut across all major 40 constituencies within the state and make sure that, according to the Constitution of Nigeria, under Chapter 4 of the Fundamental Human Rights, Section 34, Section 33, Section 1, Subsection 1 states that a person has a right to life, and has that right to life without fear or any violence required. And definitely it is something that has to be pertinent within the legislative system of the government. So it is my promise, however, that within a short period of time, the involvement of the Lagos State House of Assembly, and by extension, the Lagos State government, would be more effective, more accurate, and more accommodating.
A lot of NGOs here, because the truth is that AHI won't be able to do everything, even in Lagos State. I mean, I know that we've mentioned quite a number of locations in Lagos, and we still have so many of them. So at the end of the day, we are talking about NGOs and partners working together to be able to implement programs in the states and perhaps maybe in other part of the country. So I would like to suggest that, I mean, we are all involved in programming and we implement programs. And sometimes we even write proposals, to activities to get implemented. Perhaps we could now start integrating adolescent health into our programs. We should always have a clear focus on how we want to integrate programs. Like somebody said earlier, that nowadays for a lot of programs to be effective, sometimes you might need to integrate one thematic area with another one, health, education, and so on and so forth. So what I would like to say is that for us, now that we are here, let's ensure that we integrate this aspect of health into our programs, for proper implementation. Because I would say that Save the Children, as an organization, has one of its thematic areas called child protection. And this particular area is very much involved in it. We might not be implementing that directly in Lagos right now, but we know that we'll start that soon. And other thing I would like to say is the area of advocacy. Advocacy is another strong area in Save the Children that we do. We usually act as a catalyst, for activities within states. So now I believe that whatever we come up with here will probably inform policies and guides for the implementation of adolescent health. So I believe there are guides and policies out there already that are existing policies that perhaps we've probably we've not really looked into to even see how we could integrate some of these things we're talking about, or be involved in the reviews of some of these laws and see how they become more robust to be able to implement some of the things we're talking about here. Of recent, there was a National Health Act retreat in Kaduna, which quite a number of NGOs were there. I mean, these are the kind of fora where people can meet and try to ensure that topics like this are very much integrated into.
The issue is this: we need more women in decision making. You need to participate more in politics for you to get this thing done. If you want to fight this cause, then you need to take the bull by the horn. That is just the truth. We need more of Honorable Abike Dabiri. I'm very sure she can. I don't know if she can still remember my face. We met in the UK when you were giving an award 3 years ago, Women for Africa.
You are much older now.
Thank you. Yeah. So we need more of Honorable Abike Dabiri.
And she's much younger now.
And we need more of Honorable Fumilayo Teju. You need to get yourself involved in it. And all these things start from the family too. I happen to work in an organization whereby I educate young children. And I remember sometimes when I have children, most especially the female one, I ask them that, how many of you want to become a teacher? I see them putting down their hands. How many of you want to become a politician? And a little child raised up her hand one day and she said, I don't want to be a politician. And I asked why. She said, my parents said it is dangerous. What is dangerous? She said, don't go there, that they kill, they do all those kind of things. So that is one. Then the second one is our religious leaders, churches and private organizations too. They are not really helping the situation at all. So they need to take charge, most especially the private organization. There's what they call private community development programs. The AHI need to tap into this. What are they doing with all this fund? They need to give back to the community. So you need to tap into this. Then I think lastly, in our broad, let me just borrow this. The government cannot do it alone. Every individual should take charge of this. You don't need to be a multi.
Able to, address all issues and address all areas that people have been, asking and talking and observing and, commenting about. What has government got to do about this? I assumed duty as the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, 5th August this year. It's really, I wouldn't say it's not my area, I'm a manager. Anywhere it should be my area. And when I got to the ministry, I saw the issues. Wow, you don't have to be a professional to see, to have compassion for such issues. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a woman. And all those things get to me. In the few days or few weeks that I've been there, I've had pictures of people come, sent to me. A lot of them, just as we have identified, are not from Lagos State. But we have this migrant issue of Lagos, people, coming into Lagos. And we dare not leave anybody behind, just as His Excellency had said. We have people who want to bring in their special babies to us to take care. They have their babies with, disabilities. They say they don't have time. They want government, as if, there's somebody sitting there saying, yes, I'm omnipresent, omnipresent, and all that. And they said they want government to take care of these children for them. There are girls who have been defiled. I don't know if, you see, we hear it, we read it. When you see a 10-year-old girl who come into your office and cannot walk properly because she has sores all over that area, and you see it, you get scared. What am I going to do? I dare not take my eyes off that issue. when you see people come in, you know, who actually are HIV positive and they keep saying they are not and they still want to go back into the society to stay there, you dare not take your eyes off those kind of people. Every problem is strategic to government, similar to out-of-school girls. Government of Lagos State, mega city status, mega city challenges, you would say. We all have a lot to do. Doctor, you mentioned if we have a plan. We do have a plan. We have a state development plan 2012 to 2025. It's online, sir. And if you want a hard copy, I could get you one. A lot of things have been articulated in that state development plan. We have to look at all these issues in its ramifications. Mrs. Eshet, I've known ages. In fact, when she came into my office, I said, Madam, don't you remember me? I was there that she's been at it since when Her Excellency Mrs. Georgia Otodola was the wife of the governor of Lagos State then. I happened to be the protocol officer to Mrs. Otodola then. And I said, you remember this book? Oh, and she said, oh, I can remember it, that's in the 90s. I know she's been at it like forever. And when she sat down and told me about these issues, I said, wow, it is not about women affairs and poverty alleviation. And just as we have all observed and identified, there are cross-cutting issues. They are cross-cutting issues. And incidentally, my colleague's office is just downstairs. And I said, yeah, I'm going to see youth. We must partner in this. And I said, okay, Mrs. Eshet, it is not about women affairs. We're going to have to call education, health, just as you've been saying, integrate all these things. They are cross-cutting issues, and we really need to look at them. But somebody has said it is not only about Iwaya. You have also in your statistics said 100 blighted areas. I was sitting down there. Honorable was telling me Ikorodu too. It's Ikorodu blighted. I said, Ikorodu too. Anybody can be considered vulnerable. Last week, we were going around, you know, talking about child rights and everything. And I see that the effort was more in public schools. And I called my Director of Child Development. I said, Director of Child Development, you have made my child vulnerable. Because he goes to a private school and you're not giving him information and he becomes vulnerable. Isn't that true? Because if your child who is in a private school is not given information about what to do, how to do it, he becomes vulnerable, he becomes a prey. So it is about having everybody on deck, every hand on deck.